Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives and Triadic Healing. So in this section, we are going to talk about the nurturer and the provider. We're going to clear up a lot here. There was a philosopher in the 1600s, around 1626, Mr. Filmer. I cannot remember if his name was John or James. I think it was John Filmer. He was a philosopher, 1626. He published something that coined the phrase, the patriarchy. This paper was designed for one thing. This article that he wrote was designed to absolutely fortify that God is here, man is here, and woman is here. That's all this paper was. And he absolutely solidified this concept of the patriarchy so as to remind people of the 1600s, hey, this is the order of things. This is the pecking order. Know your place. It stuck, and it became so popular that it's something that carries over to this day. So here we are, still practicing garbage from the 1600s. Not mankind's smartest move. It gets to a point where you go, a 500-year-old mindset. That's archaic. You know what happened in the 1620s? Let's go back and look at that. So the psychology of man shifted, but our mindset did not. The psychology and the evolution of man's knowledge base expanded, but our mindset stayed frozen in the 1600s. When you are dealing with anyone in the fourth perspective, you are working with the 1600 mindset. It's why I don't work with fourth perspectives and lower. Is because the people who are in perspectives 1 through 4 are trapped in the 1600s. I don't work with that. No. Fifth perspective is modern. They've got things figured out. They are now caught up to date with the 20th century. Fourth perspective and lower is celebrating and embracing the 17th century mindset. So I don't deal with that. Looking at today's time period, now we're looking at LGBTQIA, now we're looking at transgender people, now we're looking at what the validity of gender is. Now we're starting to look at the concept that maybe gender is irrelevant. So now it really brings back the question of let's throw out mother and father, because that's gender. Let's throw out man and wife, husband, because that's gender. Let's throw out boyfriend, girlfriend. Let's throw out, this is a big one, masculine and feminine. That is all 1600 mentality from the patriarchy. Those are labels. So when you sit down and you just look at what we have available today, what we are really referring to is something called a nurturer and a provider. Now, it does not matter what gender you are. That's not relevant. Transgender people have that figured out, which is why they're eighth perspective. When you get to the eighth perspective, you suddenly realize how irrelevant gender is, and you realize that a person's energy is what determines a person, and their energy is determined by their ethics. So when you get to the transgender community, the LGBTQIA, where sexuality starts to become very fluid, it's because you're starting to advance to a point of conceptualization where you no longer see the confines of chromosomes. What you instead are looking at is a person's internal energy system. So the nurturer energy is someone who naturally comforts. They just know how to do it. They know how to soothe other people in pain. They just know how to do it. A provider is somebody who knows how to go out and forage and scavenge and do bushcraft. These are people who you give them nothing and say, okay, here's a knife. We're not even going to give you a knife. Here is an abandoned island, go. Those are providers. Those are people who can go, oh yes, I have my ability to build this shelter out of grass. That's a provider. Now, We have both of these skill sets inside of each and every one of us. This is not contingent upon boys are this way, girls are another way. It doesn't work that way. We each have both of these traits inside of us. It's contingent upon our survival. We need both of these for our survival. Now, you're good at one and you're not so good at the other one. You're going to have a forte. Some people are equal right down the middle. They are equally a comforter and equally a provider. There are some people who are really good at providing and really bad at comforting. And you have people who are really good at comforting and really bad at providing. I am a provider. I've got 90% provider inside of me. I've got providing down to a science. My favorite thing in the world is going camping with nothing but a stick. I got this. I got this. My favorite provider moment or example is this woman. This woman it was dinner time and everyone was like, oh, I'm hungry. And she's like, all right, I got it taken care of. And all she had in her refrigerator was lemons, literally just lemons. 2 hours later, she had a lemon meringue pie and she had an entire roast cooking. And she made this out of just basic resources. This is what cooking is. Cooking is resourcefulness. It's your ability to look at bare essentials and turn it into food. That is providing. You know who's really good at cooking, notoriously good at cooking? Women, because women are providers. When a father plays with a child, what he's actually doing is comforting the child. We don't learn play from our fathers. We're actually learning comfort. But again, we're back to the genders and it's actually irrelevant. It depends on who you are. So when we sit down and we look at our own parents, what we are supposed to get from our parents is the skills providing and nurturing. That's it. That is what our mom and dad is supposed to be teaching us, providing and nurturing. They're not supposed to do it for us. They are supposed to be teaching us how to do it for ourselves without them. A child who has really good parents can go to the daycare when they're 4 years old and go, love you, mom, see ya, and just set off and play. The child who screams because the parent has left them there has taught them really bad self-comfort skills. That child has an enabler that instead of teaching them how to self-comfort, the parent self-comforts for them. So when you sit down and you determine your own parenting style, it's really a question of where's your forte. Now, here's the fun part. We have this thing inside of us that naturally attracts us to the polar opposite of a partner. So if you are a provider, you are most likely going to be attracted to a nurturer and vice versa. It's extraordinary. And the balance has to match yours. This is really an awesome study. I have done this so many times with people wherever I get into this conversation, and then they'll sit there and look at their partner and they'll go, oh my God, that's right. I'm looking for the provider and the nurturer. And once they figure out their own ratio, they can look at their partner and go, oh my God, that's the ratio of my partner. It's polar opposite. So I am a 90-10. I am a 90% provider, 10% nurturer. And the partner of my choice is a 90% nurturer and a 10% provider. It fits perfectly. I love it to pieces. It's wonderful. Now, here's the fun part. Get me around other providers, and no. Too many cooks in the kitchen. It does not feel good for me. I am not comfortable having multiple providers around me. Now, I can do multiple nurturers. So literally everyone in my circle, everyone in my friend circle is a provider or is a nurturer because I have such a massive surplus of provider energy. What I don't have is nurturing. So all of my friends are nurturers, all of them, because I cannot stand being around provider energy. Oh my God, do I hate provider energy? Because then it feels like it's a surplus. It's an absolute surplus for me. I can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. It's extraordinary. But what we think is comforting and what we think is resourcefulness is not at all what we think it is, which is why the next couple of videos is going to be just me focusing on what comfort is and what self-comfort is and what we're really doing when we self-comfort. So take a look. If you want to join the DIY Triadic Healing, go ahead and grab Getting Started over at my website, www.anashealinggarden.org. Click on the link below. Like, subscribe, follow, share, and comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you and donate to the garden. Help us grow. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.